You ever notice how the loudest opinions come with the thinnest umbrellas? Saturday, July 4th, 2026. America tried to do freedom on a postcard. Flags, fireworks, speeches. And then the sky said, "That's cute. Now take shelter." And what happens? People don't run to cover. They run to the truth. Specifically, to the National Museum of African American History and Culture. I like to call it the Blacksonian. Now listen, the irony was not subtle. Some folks spend all year talking about how they don't want that DEI stuff. They say it like it's a contaminant, like it's going to infect their kids with awareness. They're out there campaigning against education, against context, against the audacity of other people existing in the story. But when the rain started falling, suddenly everybody remembered they have bodies. They remembered roofs are real. They remembered discomfort is fine if it's dry. So there they were, freedom enthusiasts, narrative critics, leave it alone crowd, standing inside a museum that they often dismiss like it's an inconvenience to their worldview. And I'm supposed to believe that wasn't poetic justice? That wasn't the universe doing improv? Because if you think about it, anti-DEI has a whole vibe. It's not actually anti-learning, it's anti-being confronted, anti-being corrected, anti-looking too long at what happened. And that's why this rain moment hits so hard. Because nobody was arguing about exhibit design while they were getting soaked. Nobody was issuing think pieces. The moment they needed shelter, the talking stopped and the door opened. And then, oh man, then the building started speaking. Imagine you're walking through the museum lobby, damp hair, confused expression, the energy of someone who came for cover and now has to face content. Then you see the elevator. And it's not even subtle. The museum is basically daring you to go deeper. Staircases are optional, it says, but history is not. So you hit the button for below the street and bam, you're no longer at the surface where people like to keep the conversation clean. You're down where the timeline stops being a slogan and starts being a reality. You come into that lowest first level and it's like the museum is saying, before your country had nations, your ancestors had advanced civilizations. Not interesting culture, not aesthetic. Advanced civilizations. Organized, knowledgeable, complex. Whole worlds with science and systems and art and governance. And that is where the discomfort begins. Because for some people, the American story starts when America decides it starts. But down here, the story starts earlier. It starts in ways that don't flatter the myth that history only happens to the powerful. Then you go further, and you're hit with the names of slave ships. Not vague, not somewhere across the ocean. Names, details, evidence, the kind of receipts that don't care if you're tired. You want irony? Here it is. The same people who say, "Stop blaming the past," are standing in a place built from the past, refusing to stay quiet. And then you follow the crowd to the next level and you realize the museum isn't only about pain, it's about survival with flavor. You go a few levels up and you turn a corner and there's food. Not a museum gift shop snack. Cuisine with history. Food that fed generations. Built community. And, whether people admit it or not, nourished America in ways that shaped what American tastes like. Deliciously so. If you ever wondered why some people get mad at cultural recognition, it's because cultural recognition is evidence. It's proof that influence flows both ways. And that the country didn't just benefit from enslaved labor, it also got changed by the brilliance that labored under it. Now keep going, higher levels, science, inventions, contributions, names, discoveries, the kinds of achievements that make the "what did they ever do" argument collapse under its own ignorance. Then you step into the music and art section, the place where American culture stops being a label and becomes a family tree. Jazz, rhythm, visual language, creative expression that shaped the sound of the nation and the look of the nation. And if you're waiting for the museum to be one note, it won't cooperate because it keeps expanding the timeline until you realize this isn't just history you're reading, it's history you're inheriting, no matter what the color of the top layer of your skin might be. Then you find the military and community floors, Buffalo Soldiers, United States colored troops, people who did the country's bidding while being denied full membership in the country they served, people who fought and endured and kept going anyway, even when they were lynched in uniform. And then there are the homesteaders, settlers, still showing up to do the work of building, even while the nation was busy denying their humanity. So, while some folks think they're protecting their kids from being made to feel something, the museum is quietly doing something else. It's giving kids context. Not guilt, context. And context doesn't turn someone into a victim. It turns someone into a citizen. One who can see how power worked, who paid the price, and who moved the country forward anyway. Which brings us back to Saturday, July 4th, 2026, America's 250th birthday. Some people were running from a little rain and ended up in an exhibit that refuses to let the American story stay shallow. They came for shelter, and got the full timeline instead. That's the sharp part of the irony. They act like acknowledgement is an attack. But when the universe forces a shelter moment, they don't even try to argue with the building. They just walk inside and accept what the roof offers. And that means the problem is not DEI. The problem is wanting to control the narrative while pretending you're entitled to the benefits of the country being truthful. So yes, go ahead and call it DEI. Call it whatever makes you feel comfortable. But the museum doesn't negotiate with comfort. The National Museum of African American History and Culture doesn't care about your comfort. The Blacksonian is there regardless of your comfort. Instead, it shows you what happened. Then it shows you who survived it. Then it shows you what they built after surviving it. Then it shows you how the nation became what it is because of people who were told they'd never be part of the story. That's why the irony is so loud, the rain can't cover it. The same worldview that complains about truth is the worldview that, when threatened, reaches for the place where truth is documented. You can't mock history and still use it as your umbrella. So, next time America tries to celebrate freedom with fireworks and slogans, maybe remember to bring one more thing. A willingness to look up before the weather makes you look down. Thank you. And next time you need cover, don't fight the building. Just open the door.